I can find the area and arc length of a sector. So the directions here say find the area and arc length for each shaded part. So what I would encourage you to do, if you feel good about what we've been doing in class with this and you've got your learning log out, I would encourage you to pause the video and work both of these out. If you're a little unsure about this, maybe watch me work out part A and then pause it and try B on your own and then check your answer there. But let's go ahead and start with A. We've got a radius of 4 and a central angle of 45. So first, if we want to find the area, so let's look at the area of this shaded part here. So I'm looking for the area. That's my part. The whole thing is the entire area, which is pi r squared, formula for area. And so we're going to plug in a 4 for the radius. In order to know how much of this circle we want, again, if we did the entire pi 4 squared, we would get the whole circle. To understand what part of this shaded section we want, we're going to use our central angle. So we want 45 degrees of the 360 degrees. Your next step is to cross multiply here. So 45 degrees times pi 4 squared. And then the other direction, we've got 360 times x, and then your last step is to divide by 360 degrees. So go ahead and type that into your calculator. I'm going to do that here. A few things to keep in mind. Please make sure you are using the pi button on your calculator and not just 3.14, because again, that'll give us the most exact answer. So when we type this in, we do get 19.74 units squared. So there is the area of, that shaded section there. 19.74 units squared. So then the next part of this is finding the arc length for A. Again, it's a very similar setup. We want a part of this circumference, not the whole thing. So we're going to switch over because arc length represents the distance from, let's see, this point to this point along this arc here. So it's just a part of the circumference. So we're going to use our circumference formula, which is 2 pi r. Again, we know our radius is 4. And then how much of that 360 degrees do we want? We want 45 degrees. So here's my proportion. Again, same thing. Anytime you solve a proportion, you need to cross multiply first. 360 times x. The reason why I'm dividing by 360 is I need to get x all by itself. 360 is attached by multiplication, so dividing it by 360 will get rid of that and bring x by itself. So then go ahead and type this into your calculator. So 45 times 2 pi times 4, and then divide that by 360. So that's going to give us 3.14 units. Some of you guys have asked about the parentheses. The parentheses here just mean multiplication, so it's up to you if you want to put parentheses around the 4 or if you want to use a multiplication symbol. You'll get the answer the same thing either way. All right, and then let's go over here and look at B. So again, the first thing I'm going to find is the area of this sector. So I'm going to have my part over the whole area. This time my radius is 11, so I'm going to plug that in. And then of the entire circle, we want 90 degrees. And then we're going to cross multiply again. Now, some of you may recognize that 90 degrees is a fourth of the circle. So if you wanted to simplify this and set this equal to 1/4, that would work as well. So this time when we cross multiply, we're going to have 90 times pi times 11 squared equals 360 degrees times x. And then again, you'll notice a pattern here. You're always going to end up dividing by that 360 for these problems. So again, going to your calculator, typing that in. It is also up to you if you want to do this step by step or just type it in all at once into your calculator. Just make sure you round at the very end. So the area of this shaded portion is 95 3/100 units squared. And then the last part to answer, the second part of part B, is to find the arc length of this shaded sector. So to do that, again, that's part of the circumference, so 2 pi times 11. Notice I switched to my circumference formula. Again, I still want 90 degrees of the 360. My central angle here hasn't changed. So next I'm going to cross multiply. 2 pi times 11 times 90 equals, go the other direction, 360 times x, and then last step, divide by 360. Again, these are not necessarily very difficult problems to solve because you guys are really good at cross multiplying. We've done a lot with that this year. The hardest part is just making sure you're using the right formula, whether it's circumference or perimeter, and then making sure that you use the right central angle. You kind of put everything in the right place. So this is going to give us an arc length of 17.28 units.